Coming up on Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. Tonight, joining me and my co-host, Ricky Rotondo. He is the NEMA president, and he's a six-time NEMA champion car owner, and he will have 6 cars at the Boston Louis event. Tim Bertrand will be joining us. Also joining us in the conversation, he's a 3-time World of Outlaws champion and a 5-time Chili Bowl winner, slamming Sammy Swindell. He scored his first ever SK Modified feature Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll talk to driver Joey Cipriano. And we'll be taking your phone calls, 203-757-1320. We stream live at WATR.com. And to hear our show in a rebroadcast, you can now go to sidsview.com. You can also check us out in the TuneIn Radio and Simple Radio app. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2018, and Speedway Line Report Radio is headed your way right now.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
The green flag is in the air, and it's time for the Speedway Line Report, presented by Shaler Acura of Manchester, broadcasting from our WATR studios in Waterbury, Connecticut, and streaming live around the world. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. I'm Gary Danko here in our Waterbury studio at WATR 1320 AM, right alongside is my co-host, Ricky Rotondo from R&R Fabrication. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. The number that you need tonight, if you want to talk to any of our scheduled guests, or if you want to talk to Ricky or myself, 203-757-1320. 203-757-1320. Ricky, how are you?
Doing well, Gary. You?
Not too bad. Of course, Ricky works with Eric Burt in the SK Modified division over at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday nights. He also owns his own business, R&R Fabrication. Eric Burt this past Friday night, 18th place finish, but tell us through how that all went.
We had a good car. We're coming through the field. It was one of them days where you go a little bit forward, then you go backwards, and then you go back forward again, and we just started to pick him off one at a time, and car was good. And then he come out of turn 2, and he dropped all the way to the bottom. I'm like, this isn't good. I clicked onto the radio, and I said, he's coming in the pit, guys. And he came down pit road, and something was broken inside the motor, so that was it for that. And like I said earlier, it just stinks when you hear the final lineup. The final rundown of where everybody finished. In 18th place, Eric Burt, who ran the fastest lap of the night. It's like,
wow.
We had a good car, but ended up not meaning anything as always.
And tonight, first-time winner in the SK Modified division at Stafford Motor Speedway, Joey Cipriano, right here out of Waterbury, Connecticut. He's going to join us a little bit later on by phone. But coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Tim Bertrand and Sammy Swindell, who runs on the World of Outlaws. Sammy's going to be a part of the big show at the Boston Louis coming up on Wednesday. We'll talk to Tim Bertrand and Sammy Swindell about that and more. Once again, the phone number that you need tonight, 203-757-1320. We talk auto racing on Monday night here at Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. And if you know someone, or if you'd like to go back and listen to our show in the archive section at sidsview.com, we appreciate everything Tom DiMaggio is doing for us. He is back from vacation. We hope that Tom and his wife and family all had a great vacation. And so last week's show, he just got that up last night. So if you want to listen to last week's show, it is up and ready to go. And once again, big thank you to Tom DiMaggio, who's going to get us through to the end of this season here on Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be all set for Tim Bertrand and Sammy Swindell. They're coming up next.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Opinions expressed on the Speedway Line Report do not necessarily reflect those of WATR management and staff, or the management and staff of the SpeedwayLineReport.com or VintageModifieds.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We are also streaming live at WATR.com, and all shows can be heard in rebroadcast at SidsView.com. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo. And Ricky, other winners from this past weekend, of course, Tom Fern. He has been on fire over there in the late model division, and I guess General Manager Mark Root now has put a bounty on him, a $500 bounty. So that's going to be interesting how that all works out. And, of course, Tom Fern has been running Stafford Motor Speedway for many, many years. Yeah,
like when you say the bounty, I mean, I think what that is, that's a very fun type of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Where I'm just saying he's trying to get the other guys a little bit excited to beat Tom Fern.
Exactly. So we'll see how that all plays out here, and should be interesting.
Which that could draw in cars from other racetracks also.
Yeah, Tom Fern, he's got 6 straight wins in the late model division, so the $500 bonus will go to whoever can defeat the number 92. And once again, going to be interesting. And Tom Fern is certainly a tough competitor. Even when he used to run over at the former Riverside Park Speedway, he knows how to get the job done. So coming up in just a couple of minutes, Tim Bertrand and Sammy Swindell. We're going to both have them on at the same time. We'll try to pull this off here. And once again, coming up a little bit later on, just about 6:40, we'll talk to first-time SK Modified winner Joey Cipriano, who scored that big win on Friday night. And he was well overdue, Rick.
Oh, definitely. He was definitely overdue for a win, even this year, let alone years past. And he had a really good car. He got out front, and I don't know, it was like that race decades ago there, the running race, where they say that it was the rabbit that got away.
Right, exactly.
And that's what he was. He was out front and just gone.
And finishing right behind him, first-time winner a couple weeks back at Stafford Motor Speedway, Mike Christopher Jr. Was second. Stephen Kopchik was third. Stephen's going to join us on next Monday night show. Glenn Reen was fourth. Ronnie Williams, Keith Rocco, Rowan Pennick, Josh Woods, and Michael Jarvis Jr. and Tyler Hines rounded out the top 10. That was from this past Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. Our first 2 guests of the evening, they're all set and ready to go. He is the NEMA president, and he is also a championship car owner, Tim Bertrand, and of course a gentleman that's had a lot of success on the World of Outlaws. Sammy Swindell is also on the line. Timmy, I'm going to start off with you first. How you doing?
Great. Hey, Gary, it's Tim Bertrand. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. First of all, welcome to Speedway Line Report Radio, the Boston Louis event. Of course, as I just mentioned, you are the NEMA president, and you're also a NEMA championship car owner, and you're going to have 6 cars in the Boston Louis. So tell us about that.
Yeah, very exciting. First time we've ever attended this many cars. We've run 5 at one previous event, and this year we decided to, I guess, do it up a little bit more. So we're very excited. Boston Louis is one of the biggest races of the year for the Northeastern Midget Association. It celebrates longtime car owner Boston Louis Seymour, one of the most famous open-wheel car owners in the history of sprint cars, midgets, and so on, Silver Crown cars, and so on. And it's great to be able to celebrate Boston Louis every year. Bobby Seymour, Boston Louis' son, puts on a fantastic event along with Ed and his team at Cipriano Speedway. So we're excited about that. We've got a great lineup in Bertrand Motorsports. We obviously have Sammy coming in from his travels off of the road to drive the brand new #1 car that we debuted at Star Speedway a couple weeks ago. We've got Justin Bonsignor, current Whelen Modified Tour points leader, going to be running the 47. And then we've got our kind of normal cast of drivers, Avery Storr, Todd Bertrand, and 6-time champion Randy Cabral running for us. And then in the light series, we've got a well-known name around the Seekonk area, Ray Parent, who's going to run our NEMA light car. And right now, I think we're expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 55 cars between the two groups. So it should be a great night for the series. Yeah,
you got a good lineup of drivers, and it's the Boston Louis is also always a great event. Now let's bring in another guest. It's on the phone with us. At the same time, Tim Bertrand is on. No introduction for this guy, but he knows how to get the job done on the World of Outlaws. Sammy Swindell. Sammy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing very well. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. And Sammy, will this be the first time you're ever going to Cipriano Speedway?
Yep, that'll be the first time.
Okay. Well, what have you heard about that racetrack?
Oh, well, not a lot. I mean, I've looked at it on the map, but that really doesn't give a good definition of what it is. So, but you know, I haven't really talked to anybody specifically about that racetrack yet. Okay.
Timmy, what kind of advice can you give to Sammy about Cipriano Speedway?
Yeah, it's a third of a mile. It's very wide. Produces some great racing with the midgets. You can run 4 wide. There's a groove on the top and a groove on the bottom. Oftentimes you'll see 3-4 wide action. It's very round. You get the wheel turned to the left almost all the way around the racetrack if the car is working really well. And it's very, very much so a momentum track. It's the track that you're almost never totally off of the throttle. You know, you're between half and 2/3 or 3/4 throttle through the corners, and then on the wood down the straightaway. So it's very much a momentum track. It's a fast, round track that produces great racing with the midgets.
Sammy, when's the last time that you ran asphalt?
It would have been when I was up there with Tim there a couple of years ago. We came up and ran at Star Speedway and was going to run there again last year, but it rained out. So it's been a little bit, and you know, all I've got is the one race under my belt. So, but learned a lot and have a little better idea what I'm, you know, up against right now. So, you know, but just last week we went and ran the ASCS Speed Week, and I went to like 3 racetracks that I've never been to and won at all 3. So I was able to add like 3 more races to my resume where I'm undefeated at this time. So hopefully I can do that again here on Wednesday night.
Sure. And I know a lot of the fans are looking forward to having you come to Cipriano Speedway and be a part of the Boston Louis event. And let's switch back over to Tim Bertrand, who is the NEMA president, and he's also the NEMA championship car owner. He's going to have 6 cars involved. And I'll tell you, Timmy, you got a great lineup. I mean, as you mentioned, Justin Bonsignor is going to be a part of your race team this week. And how many cars altogether should we see for the Boston Louis?
Yeah, I'm thinking that we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 to 18 full-size midgets and somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35 light midgets. So it's a great deal for the promoters. I'm not sure of too many traveling series that bring 50-plus cars to a racetrack, but this is a big event for us. We've got guys coming from all over the country. We've got guys coming in from Idaho. We've got guys coming in from down south. So it always produces a really nice crowd of cars, and of course with the $10,000 to win modified race on top, it's just a great group of people that come to watch the race as well. I do think that that Sammy's going to draw a lot of the traditional dirt and sprint car guys that come from, that might not normally come to this race. I've heard from many of them that are excited about coming on Wednesday night. So we should have a lot of cars. We should also have a great fan base, and hopefully it'll be a great night for the series. And then, of course, with 6 of our Bertrand Motorsports cars there in a great lineup, I'm looking forward to a great night.
And you were saying before that you ran 5 cars before. How did you fare that night running 5 cars?
We've done it a couple times. We ran 5 at the World Series at Thompson last year. We finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We ran 4 at one event earlier this year. We finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We've got a pretty good program. We've got to do our homework in the garage and also make sure that the cars are well prepared before we get to the track. That nothing can ever go perfectly, as you guys know, with race cars at the racetrack. And some nights it's just not your night in terms of bugs and things of that nature. But we typically fare pretty well, even when we have a good flock of cars in our stable.
Yeah, it's like I've said it before. You go to the racetrack, you start with your plan A. Next thing you know, you're on double E or triple F, and because you go through every scenario you got by the time the race is over.
Yeah, I had one of those nights a few weeks ago. Hopefully things go really smoothly on Wednesday night. I wear one of those Fitbit step tracker watches, and the night a couple weeks ago, I walked 36,000 steps and had 519 active minutes and burned 5,800 calories in one day. So if that gives you some idea around how busy I was that night, I don't think I've had a night that busy in probably my whole life.
And Timmy, who would you say that Sammy, with the lineup of drivers that you have, his driving style would be equivalent to them?
Yes, I would say that Sammy was extremely smooth when he ran the midget last up at Star Speedway. Smooth, but also aggressive. Very similar style to my brother Todd or Randy Cabral. Both of those guys, don't saw at the wheel a lot. Our particular cars that we've designed for the series don't fare well when they're loose or when the guys are sawing at the wheel. So I would say Sammy's style, being aggressive and kind of going after the spot, but also being really smooth with the wheel, lends itself really well to our cars, and it reminds me a lot of Randy Cabral or my brother Todd.
Got it. Back over to Sammy Swindell, who's going to be a part of the Boston Louis this coming Wednesday at Seekonk Speedway. You'll want to check it out. Always some great racing over at Seekonk Speedway. And Sammy, how's everything going for you on the World of Outlaws? And before you touch on that, first of all, condolences to everybody at the World of Outlaws, drivers and crew members, on the passing of Jason Johnson following a crash at Beaver Dam Raceway. Our condolences from us here at Speedway Line Report Radio to their entire family and to everybody involved, Sammy.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm running more of the 360 stuff here right now with the ASCS and the USCS here with the local cars. So I have run a couple World Outlaw races, and we will be at Knoxville at the World of Outlaw race there at Knoxville on Friday and Saturday. So it's just that they travel so much and are gone so far away, that I've kind of limited myself to what I do and where I can be home a lot more than in the past. So we just do, go out and race a weekend or maybe 2 at a time, and then I'm back home. So, it's like this past weekend we were off. We didn't run anywhere. So, it's just I didn't want to commit to a series and be locked in to have to, well, that's what you do every week, and this gives me the opportunity to do some different things like this with Tim and something that's a little exciting for me and something that's, well, I haven't done it, so, I want to see if I can master it. So, it's all working out pretty good. I go drive a few different cars for a few different people during this year, so it's all good.
Okay. Sammy Swindell on the line with us, along with Tim Bertrand. And, hey, Timmy, you ever think about maybe seeing Sammy behind open wheel modified?
Well, funny enough, when we got rained out at Star Speedway last year, we took Sammy and his wife Amy down to the fall final at Stafford, and we just kind of went there before it was time for them to go back to the airport. And I don't know, you should ask him. I think he was pretty intrigued by the modifieds, and he's actually got some experience that you might want to ask him about further back in his career running bush cars and so on. But I think he was pretty intrigued by that.
Yeah, Sammy, talking about open wheel modifieds. That, of course, that's pretty big up here. What do you think of the modifieds?
Yeah, they look like fun. I mean, I'd like to give it a chance if the opportunity comes up. I was able to run up there at Stafford twice when they had us come up with some Silver Crown cars and do some things with some different guys. And both times we were, right there. I think we finished second both times. So, I'd like to. There's a lot of things I'd like to do. I just need the opportunity and the time to go do it.
Sure. And, of course, one time in your career, you ran in the Busch Series, which is now the Xfinity Series. You also ran some Cup races. So tell us about that experience back when you were driving back in the Busch Series.
Yeah, well, it was we just did a few races, probably, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 that I got a chance to do. And, weren't always the best cars, but, we had some pretty good runs. I mean, the first time I think I was at Daytona, I finished like 16th. So, in a car that was probably 3 or 4 years older than everybody else's, but it was fun. It's different. It's like when we've run the sprint, or when I've done the pavement, I've always really done well, and it suits a lot of things the way I like to drive, or like Tim said, be real smooth. So I've always enjoyed running the pavement, and it's come fairly easy to me. So I got to do those. I did some of the Cup races, and did the Truck Series one year, and the first year, and was able to run a few of the IndyCar races. So they're all fun. It's just some of the things it's just hard to break into, or like the bigger series there. It's so expensive. It's hard unless you can bring a big sponsor to where you get to stay there, it seems, right now.
Sammy, I mentioned as I introduced you, you're a 5-time Chili Bowl winner as well. What is it like running the Chili Bowl?
Well, that's different. I mean, in most years, that's the only midget race I'll do all year. And to be competitive there just about every year, but I think that says a little bit for me being so versatile on different things and figuring it out. And just like I said, we went to 3 new tracks and won at all 3 of them, a week ago. So, the same with me going up there to Star Speedway and kind of being right on pace right away. It's
right.
Just, having a sense or a feel for things and being able to pick it up right away.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'd like to see you run an SK at Stafford. I think that would be entertaining for me anyway.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. You definitely would like to. I'd like to be in a competitive car, but still, it's. I think that it would be a lot of fun doing that. It looks a little bit different, but sitting in the stands, get to watch a lot of different guys or their cars and see how they handle it, and it gives me a pretty good perspective for it. So maybe the chance will show up at some time.
Our first 2 guests of the evening are on the line with us, Sammy Swindell and Tim Bertrand. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll talk to SK Modified Feature Event winner from Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway, Joey Cipriano. The phone number that you need tonight to talk auto racing with us, 203-757-1320. We stream live at WATR.com. And to hear our show in a rebroadcast, you can now go to SidsView.com. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. Back on with Tim Bertrand, who is the NEMA president, and he's a 6-time NEMA champion car owner. And Tim, I'm sure all the cars are set and ready to go at the shop.
Well, you know how that goes. I would say we're going to be ready to pull out of the driveway sometime late tomorrow afternoon. We do have our cars are a bit spread out as we finish our new race shop, which will be done by late fall this year. We do have a couple of small issues that we're tidying up. The car that Sammy's running is totally ready to go. I buttoned that one up last night. The car that Justin Bonsignor is running has about another hour of work left that I'll finish before I push it into the trailer tomorrow afternoon. My brother Todd's car is ready. Randy's car is ready. And it looks like that the Avery store car, which was totally destroyed 4 weeks ago up at Wiscasset Speedway, that car is about 85% of the way there. They've got some small things they're finishing up on that. So, yeah, we'll be ready. I'm sure that I'll want to look everything over one last time. We'll get there Tuesday night and be out there early Wednesday morning, get everything set up. But you guys know how it goes. I don't think there's ever been a time where if I'm ready a week beforehand, I probably missed something. So I don't mind. I don't mind working right up until it's time to go.
Sure.
We all work up right in the race could be a week and a half from now, and we'd be just as ready as if the race was tomorrow.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it should be a great night of competition over at Seekonk Speedway, the Boston Louie. And, you know, Tim, as I mentioned, you're the NEMA president and you are a car owner. So how do you do it all?
Well, I've got a lot of people ask me that. I've got a real estate business. I also, put in 70, 80 hours a week of my career, and then we run all these race cars at the same time. In addition to being the president of the club, I guess you could say I'm just really good at time management, and I have a lot of great help as well. We've got some guys that have worked some deals, even some barter deals, to help me with some labor on the race cars. I tend to not. If you ask my wife, we'd rather kind of spend time with each other, and I'd rather pay someone to mow my lawn and do the stuff around the house and do that stuff myself. So, we've kind of parsed the work out effectively, and also I would tell you that I'm pretty good at time management, and and probably don't get as much sleep as I should either. So.
Right. Sammy, after the Boston Louie at Seekonk Speedway this coming Wednesday night, what's your schedule look like?
I'll be running Friday and Saturday night at Knoxville, Iowa with the World Outlaws.
Okay. And then how about after that? Where's your schedule take you?
I think we got the next weekend off, and then we go up to Eldora for the King's Roll.
Okay, so as you mentioned, just doing a limited schedule here and there, but at least you get to visit some new racetracks, and of course, being hooked up with Tim Bertrand, you're going to get to go to Seekonk Speedway this coming Wednesday night for the Boston Louie. Tim, before I let you guys go, anything else that you want to add in regards to the program coming up Wednesday night, the Boston Louie at Seekonk Speedway?
Yeah, a little different format this year. It should be exciting. We tried to change the format up for this race to ensure that it doesn't get stale, and also to give some of our guest drivers the same opportunity that every other driver has, so they don't have to kind of be succumb to our normal handicapping system. So the format for Wednesday night will be time trials, and it'll actually be the fastest time that the car runs in any of the three practices it runs in, so kind of like a group time trialing sessions. And then there will be a kind of preset number of cars from the lights and a preset number of cars from NEMA that will determine when we get there on Wednesday that'll make a dash for cash. We'll invert the dash for cash based on fastest time to the rear, and then we'll take the cars that finish in the dash for cash and we'll pull an invert pill. It'll probably be 4, 5, or 6 out of the 8 to 10 cars in the dash for cash. So it really gives every driver the opportunity to go out there and have the same opportunity. It also prevents guys from sandbagging in time trials, and everybody's just kind of got to go for it in time trials, and also go for the dash for cash because they don't know what the invert's going to be. So I think it should make sure that we've got exciting racing right from the time the cars hit the track at the beginning of the night through the time the checkered flags fall.
Okay. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Good luck this coming Wednesday night. Sammy, thank you again for being a part of the show. Know you're very busy with your schedule, so we appreciate that. And good luck Wednesday night, the Boston Louie.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. It was nice to be there. I mean, it'll be another place for me to that I haven't been to, and another experience, and I'm looking forward to getting there and coming in and trying to get it done.
Okay, Sammy, thank you. Tim Bertrand, thank you as well, and good luck with your race teams on Wednesday night.
Thanks very much, guys. Take care. Thanks for having us on.
You're very welcome. Tim Bertrand joining us tonight, along with Sammy Swindell, talking about the Boston Louis, which comes up this Wednesday night over at Seekonk Speedway. We need to take a commercial break, and when we come back, Joey Cipriano will be joining us just about 6:40 to talk about his first career win in the SK Modified division at Stafford Motor Speedway this past Friday night.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. This show is also being brought to you by Prestige Bodyworks. Whether it's foreign, domestic, exotic, and if it's collision and refinishing, it's Prestige Bodyworks, located at 3 Colonial Road in Canton, Connecticut. Give Carl or Brett a call today at 860-693-1350 for Prestige Bodyworks. Once again, if it's foreign, domestic, exotic, and if it's collision and refinishing, it's Prestige Bodyworks. You can also email them at prestigebodyworks@comcast.net. Our next guest is all set and ready to go, and Ricky, as you witnessed, he scored his first ever career victory this past Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. Waterbury, Connecticut driver Joey Cipriano now joins us. Joey, good evening and congratulations.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule. I know, as you mentioned, you work some long hours, and appreciate you taking time out. But wanted to get you on to congratulate you about the win. Take us through your night from the time you guys unloaded, from the time you got to victory lane.
It was a pretty normal night. I mean, we unloaded pretty much like we have every week, and showed good speed in practice. And we've had a pretty consistent car all year, just haven't been able to put a whole race together yet. And Friday we were finally able to do that. We struggled in the heat a little bit. We were a little too tight, and I think maybe that helped us going into the nighttime once it cooled off and the track temp came down. But we had a good car. We started towards the front because we struggled for a couple of weeks, so we started third. We were able to get the lead right away and hold them guys off. So luckily, as the laps were counting down, I was getting nervous, waiting for that normal late race caution to come out. But we got lucky, and it didn't, and we were able to get our first win.
Yeah, you were out front and you were checked out. I mean, it didn't matter who got the second place at that point. You were long gone. The only thing that was going to beat you that night would have been a caution and then a mistake. So, I mean, you had a really good car, and like I said, you were long gone.
Yeah, once we got to right about halfway, my guys were telling me, like, you're good by a half a straightaway, just keep doing what you're doing. And then it just kind of went into cruise control mode and make sure that if we got that late caution that I still had something left for whoever was behind us.
Joey, talk a little bit about your race team.
I mean, it's a group of guys that are all really close. I'm really lucky that everybody that we have work on my car is good friends of mine, and my crew chief Ryan Plord has been with me since 2011, since we were racing the SK Lights, and he came on board with us then and has been with us ever since, and we get along really well and gel really well together. So I think that's a big part, and everybody, his brother Timmy helps us out and does my tires. My dad is a huge part of it. Really both my parents, they're giving up a lot to allow me to do what I get to do, and same thing with my sister. She's there every week supporting us, and just all my guys, Ryan, Timmy, my buddy Joe, who I grew up with, Kyle Rogers, who spots for me, same thing. I went to high school with him and raced against him in legend cars, and he still races legends, and he spots, and Andy Brockway, Billy Walcott, Cliff Farrell, Gene Poulin, Bridget Poulin. We got a great group of people that come to the track every week with us. I'm very fortunate to have the people I do, and same thing to this gentleman Dave that's been with the Poulins forever, since they've been racing. He helps us out. He came along with them, and it's been really great. We have a great group of people behind us that I'm very fortunate to have.
Yeah, no, that was good seeing the 78 back in victory lane again for the Poulins and everything. I thought that was really good for the racetrack and racing.
Yeah, it was really cool. That's when we had put that deal together with them last year. My original thought at that point, we knew we were coming back SK racing. We just didn't know to what magnitude. And when I had started racing go-karts back when I was 4, we had number 78. So I kind of wanted to go back to that. And then when, we paired up with them and I talked to them, I said, would you guys be okay with us using that number? I knew, you had it. I don't want, everybody to think that that's the reason we are, and, make sure that they were okay with it. And they loved the idea. Gene was excited about that. So it's really cool to have that in common with them and to get them in victory lane with that number again.
And, Joey, like I said to Mike Christopher Jr. last week, who joined us here on Speedway Line Report Radio after he scored his first ever SK Modified feature event, when you race at Stafford Motor Speedway, it's the top of the line from everything that they do there. But the competition in all the divisions is certainly outstanding. And the Premier Division, which you compete in the SK Modifieds, when you got the drivers like, you've got Keith Rocco in there and, Glenn Rain and many, many others, Stephen Kopchik, who also had a good finish this past Friday night. You've done something when you've pulled off a victory at Stafford Motor Speedway. You've done something and you've done it right.
It's I tell everybody, I don't think you'll go to another short track in the country and find a field as deep as you do in the Northeast, and especially at Stafford with the SKs. It's such a good field of cars. There's so many good drivers and so much good equipment there. It's tough. You listed names there with Keith and all them guys, Rowan and Eric and all those guys that are just so good. And you get Ryan Priest that shows up, every once in a while. It's all good guys. And to win a race there, you have to be on top of your game, and you have to have everything go right for you.
Absolutely.
If you have a bad race going, then you're not going to win because there's somebody else that's going to capitalize on your mistake. So it's a tough deal. We've been trying at it for a few years now. We went 3 seasons winless, and it starts to eat at you a little bit. And to finally get it in victory lane was so special.
So now that first win is behind you now coming into Stafford Motor Speedway this coming Friday night, would you say that the pressure is off you, or was there ever any pressure on you to get that first career win?
I think at first there wasn't much pressure, coming out of the SK Lights. I think going into the SKs, you have high expectations coming off success, but at the same time, you're going into a big pond and you're a little fish. So for me, at first, I started with high expectations, and then it kind of came off. And the last season we ran in 2015, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get a win. And we didn't get it, and then took a couple years off, and I finished school and did some little racing things here and there with midgets and late models and ran a couple modified races. But this year coming in, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get a win. It seemed like we lost it any way we could. Coming into this week, it was the same as every week. It's like, man, we just want to get that first one out of the way And finally we did, and we celebrated Friday night, and it was a lot of fun to finally get that one and enjoy it with my guys. It was great.
Yeah, I was watching the race, and Eric moved up to like 5th or something like that, and it was like lap 21. And I'm like, man, that kid's gone. I said, the only thing that's going to bring it back is a caution. And his car's good. And so, I mean, you definitely had the good car last week. But is this week the big race this week, or is it next week?
This week is the 5K, coming up. It's the big one. So, as I said, they did it. I know Stafford had called me. Scott from Stafford called me earlier in the week and did a story, and he had asked me, what would it mean to get your first win in the 5K? And I'm like, man, if it can come a week sooner, I'd be even happier. And it's, I guess I called my shot with that one, but it's definitely good to come off a win and go into that race, have some momentum, and like you guys said, that pressure's off now to get that first one. I feel like everybody tells you the first one's the hardest one to get, so hopefully the rest of them come a little bit easier if we can get more.
Yeah.
Talking with Joey Cipriano, who scored his first ever SK Modified feature event this past Friday night. Big race coming up at Stafford Motor Speedway this coming Friday night for the SK Modifieds. And so, Joey, how do you plan for that setup-wise for this coming Friday night?
I mean, really, you got to obviously run more fuel because we're going into a longer race. We got to make sure we pack the thing with fuel and don't run out, and then just normal stuff throughout the day and see what the track does, see how much it cools off at night, and then just go a little bit more. I mean, it's 2.5 times what we normally race, so we got to go a little bit extra on all our adjustments and hope that we hit it right. We had a really good car Friday night. I think at lap 40 we were just as good as we were at lap 1. So I think as far as the longevity of our car and how consistent it is throughout the run, I'm really excited to see what it does over that whole 100 laps. I think we're going to be good as long as we can keep up on the track, and it's going to be hot Friday, so we'll see how that plays into everything, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be the same guys every week that are fast and run well. They're going to be the ones up there that you have to battle for the win. So it's definitely going to be a good time.
All right. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with first-time SK Modified feature event winner from Stafford Motor Speedway this past Friday night, Joey Cipriano. We'll be back right after this.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. Also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. The phone number that you need, 203-757-1320. We're with you every Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320 AM. This show also being brought to you by Jim's Lawn Care Service. When it comes to maintenance and lawn care, it's Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire. So if you are in and around the Cheshire area and you need need maintenance and lawn care, well, it's Jim Majorana. 203-272-2054 for Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire. Maintenance and lawn care, it's Jim's Lawn Service. Back on, a couple minutes left with Joey Cipriano, who runs an SK Modified over at Stafford Motor Speedway on Friday night. Scored his big win this past Friday night and getting ready for the big event coming up at Stafford for the SKs this coming Friday. Joey, any other plans for auto racing for you in 2018? Be at another racetrack or maybe another division somewhere?
We have a couple more races this year with Steve Greer. We've been running his Open Modified. We ran the MRS race and the Open Show at Stafford earlier this year, and we have two more races left with him. And then we'll see. As far as, anything else, it's kind of up in the air. With the SK, we're going to finish out the year at Stafford and then see, a lot of times guys will go to Thompson for the World Series because Stafford's over at that point. So we'll see, how we get out of Stafford this year. And as far as anything else right now, I don't have anything planned. Definitely open to running as many races as I can. Anytime I can get in a race car, whether it's a modified, a midget, a late model, whatever it is, I'm willing to get in it. So any opportunity that comes up, I'll definitely jump at it.
How's it been working with Steve Greer?
It's been great. I've obviously met Steve through racing at Stafford, and we did some stuff with the SK Lights and the SKs together back in 2011, 2012, and then we kind of, paired up last fall. I had talked to him a little bit, and he asked if I was interested in running any kind of tour type or open shows, and I said, yeah, absolutely. And we talked over the winter, and he's got a great group of guys there. Earl Pelletier, the crew chief that's over there, I've known my entire life. He's been friends with my family for since before I was around, so I've known him forever, and I've gotten along with him really well. Just everybody on that car has just been a huge, welcoming to me, and it's been great. We've run really well with that car. We've been fast both times we showed up with it. We finished 7th in the Open Show, which was really good for us. That was my first top 10 in any kind of tour type car. So that was a big confidence boost for us, knowing that we could run with guys that win at that level. So it was a lot of fun. We're looking forward to going back, I think, in a few weeks for the second Open Show and then the MRS race in August.
And this week coming up here, are you going to slow down a little bit for the rest of us?
There's a lot more money on the line this week. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, this is a good paying race for everybody this week. So it's one of them things you hope you get that win just because of the extra.
I mean, it's really cool. Stafford and Napa and all the contingency sponsors with Dunleavy and Starrett and all those guys, Mayberry, and all the contingency sponsors, Sunoco, that put this whole deal on. It's really, really cool. It's a big race for us. It's nice to get a little extra distance race, and hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, it's the extra distance races. We always like the extra distance races a little bit more because it puts more pressure on some of the other drivers, which kind of limits the field a little bit more because they're thinking about it too much, and that's what we always like, the extra distance races.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's I'm glad I've run those couple open shows this year to at least get, some longer races under my belt this year. So, I mean, you run 40 laps in an SK and then you go and you jump in and you do 80 laps in another car. You do it all in one night. At the end of the night, I actually felt pretty good. So I was excited about that. At least I know I can go 100 laps. And I'm excited, like I said before, the way our car has been and how consistent it's been. I think we're going to have a good car, and it's going to be the same guys. It's going to be, the 88, the 82, the 66. It's all going to be the same guys that are going to be in the front and racing for the win as long as we get out clean.
Joey, have you had the in-car camera in your machine yet, provided by Tom DiMaggio at sidsview.com?
We actually had it this week.
Oh, okay. I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
That was pretty exciting. I get to watch my first SK win over and over again. So that's going to be pretty cool to see that. And they told me, and Sean Waddell came up to me the week before. He goes, "Hey, nobody has won with an SK with the cameras yet, so try to be the first one." And that was really cool. After the race, I realized, I'm like, oh man, we had the cameras on it. So it's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that. I don't really remember what I said crossing the line or anything. So hopefully it's you're gonna hear me probably screaming like a little girl, but it's going to be really cool to watch that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to watch that for sure.
Yeah, I think we were the fastest ones out with the cameras on our car in the SKs this year. And we lost one.
Yeah, oh, that's right. And you did lose one. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
They told me when they were putting the front bumper cam on my car, my spotter, Kyle, looks at me and he goes, you remember who drives this car, right? And he just kind of laughed, and he's like, oh, we've been putting these on all year. And he's like, yeah, but you remember who's in this car, right?
Well, Joey, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll look forward to watching your first ever career win in an SK modified at Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see that at sidsview.com, of course, where you can also hear Speedway Line Report Radio in the rebroadcast. But, Joey, congratulations to you and your team, and good luck this coming Friday night, and thanks for being on the show. I know we took you out of work a little bit, but I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Joey Cipriano joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll step out for a commercial break, and we'll be back right after this.
Acura, there's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. Congratulations to Ryan Preece, who scored a victory on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour this past weekend over at Langley Speedway. The next stop for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour comes up at Riverhead Raceway on July 7th. This show is also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works, specialist in auto collision. Now, all of their work is guaranteed. Where are they located? They're located at 390 Lombard Street in New Haven. You can give John or his staff a call today at 203-865-1389. J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works. Once again, when it comes to collision, they are specialists, and all of their work is guaranteed. 390 Lombard Street, New Haven, 203-865-1389 for J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works. And don't forget, the Grotto Restaurant, they are closed Sunday and Monday, so make sure you stop in with home-style pasta and sauces, serving fine Italian food, whether it's eat-in or takeout. It is the Grotto Restaurant right here, 634 Watertown Avenue in Waterbury. A couple minutes left. A big thank you to our guests tonight, Ricky, Tim Bertrand, Sammy Swindell, Joey Cipriano, and once again, congratulations to all the drivers that got the victory lane this past Friday night over at Stafford Motor Speedway. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and the Grotto Restaurant. So we got about, I would say, 30 seconds left. Ricky, anything you want to add before we close out tonight's show?
No, I just want to say sorry for missing last week there. I got tied up in the attic and lost track of the time. Before I knew what time it was after 6, so it didn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, no, and you did give me a call just about 8 o'clock. Well, you called during the show, and then you also called me just about 8 o'clock to let me know. We were kind of worried about you because I said to Steve, that's not Ricky, not to at least call us either before the show or. But you did call when we were on the air, so you're okay. That's all right. So that's going to do it for this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll look forward to talking to you next Monday night at 6 p.m. right here on WATR 1320 AM.
The preceding has been a GMD production. Don't forget to listen to Gary next Monday night for more auto racing news on the Speedway Line Report. And remember, the show can be heard in a rebroadcast on SidsView.com.